Hello students, this is Mrs. Gregorio. Today we are covering Chapter 1, Lesson 8 on slope. Open your books and follow along with me starting on page 73. Remember, you can pause or write down any questions you have throughout this video, so please watch the video as many times as you need to understand the concepts. To begin, I would like to share our essential question that you should be able to answer by the end of the lesson. The first question is, how can you show that two objects are proportional? And what we are going to learn today is how to find the slope of a line and how to interpret what the slope of a line represents. First, I would like you to complete the real world link on page 73. I want you to complete the graph and answer the questions for the recycling problem. Pause the video now and take a few minutes to go ahead and work through numbers 1 through 3. Starting on page 74, I would like you to review the vocabulary for this particular lesson. We are learning about slope, and slope is the rate of change between any 2 points on a line. To measure slope, we look at the change in y, or the vertical change, compared to the change in x, or the horizontal change. We call the vertical change the rise, that's this in blue, and we call the horizontal change the run, or the red. Here's another look of our key concept, and it defines slope, and here it explains that the change in y is always in the numerator and the change in x always belongs in the denominator. So if we look at the table here, or the coordinate plane, you can see that the vertical change always starts with going up 2. Then we have a horizontal change of going over 1. Up 2, over 1. And that up 2, over 1 pattern will continue throughout the line. So we can write the slope as 2 over 1, or simply just 2. Right now, I want you to pause the video and read through page 74. Then I want you to write down 3 things you learned in the work zone on page 74, and this is going to be for your credit for watching the video tonight. Please be able to show me page 74 with the 3 things you learned in class tomorrow. Okay, starting on page 75, we're going to work on example 1. It says the table below shows the relationship between the number of seconds, or y, it takes to hear thunder after a lightning strike, and the miles, x, you are from the lightning. Graph the data and find the slope. Explain what the slope represents. So let's take a look at our table first. At 0 miles, it takes 0 seconds for the sound to travel. For 1 mile, it takes 5 seconds. 2 miles takes 10 seconds. 3 miles takes 15. 4 miles takes 20 seconds. And 5 miles takes 25 seconds. Now, the question is asking us to graph the data and then find the slope. So to graph it, we would take each of these points in the table and write it as an ordered pair. So this is 0, 0. Remember, our ordered pairs are always x, then y. This point would be 1, 5, 2, 10, 3, 15, 4, 20, and 5, 25. Now to graph it, I always start at the origin, and I'm just going to go over the points you see here. That's 0, 0. 1, 5 would be over 1, up 5. 2, 10 would be here. 3, 15 is here. 4, 20, and then 5, 25. Once you have all the points, use your straight edge and complete the line. Now to find the slope, we need to look at the change in y over the change in x. So slope is the change in y over the change in x. So to begin, I'm going to look at my vertical distance. You can pick any 2 points. I could start, for example, from 0, 0 and go up. I go over or I'm sorry, I go up 5 for my rise. So in this case, I'm going to make my slope equal to 5. When I run over to the right, I'm only moving 1 mile, so I have 5 over 1. Now, if you look at the dotted lines on the graph, it goes up 10 over to the right 2 units, or 2 miles. But you can see that 10 over 2 reduces to 5 over 1. I could also pick any other point. Let's say I wanted to start at 5 and go up to 20. That vertical run would be 15. Then after I go up, I need to go over 1, 2, 3 until I hit my next point. 15 over 3 reduces again to 5 over 1. So no matter which 2 points you choose, the slope will always reduce to 5 over 1. That is our constant rate of change that we learned from lesson 1-7. So here's what the slope means. For every 5 seconds, and I'm going to write this out, for every 5 seconds, the thunder will travel, or I'm sorry, the lightning will travel 1 mile. And you can write that in your own words as well. The lightning travels 1 mile. I'm sorry, it's a little sloppy. I'm writing quickly. But right now I'd like you to pause and try activity A on page 75. To get credit for activity A, you do need to show all your work. I want you to graph it, and then I want you to explain what the slope means. Pause the video now to work on activity A. Okay, moving on to example 2, page 76. It says Reynaldo opened a savings account. Each week, he deposits $300. Draw a graph of the account balance versus time. Find the numerical value of the slope and interpret it into words. Now, the graph is already done for us, but there's something missing. And in order to graph, I need to create a table for my X and Y. X axis is the number of weeks, and you can see that there. The Y axis is the amount in dollars. So I'm going to start at 0. At 0 weeks, they would earn or deposit $0 because no time has passed. After 1 week, they would deposit $300. After 2 weeks, they would have a total of $600. 3 weeks would be $900. 4 weeks is $1,200. You can keep that pattern going. Then once you have your table completed, use those points for your coordinate pairs. 0, 0, 1, 300, 2, 600, 3, 900, 4, 1,200, 5, 1,500, and so on. Once you have all of the points plotted, use your straight edge and draw a line through to create the graph. Now we have to find the slope. Slope is the vertical change, the change in Y, over the change in X, or the horizontal change. If I go up, starting from the origin, I can go up to 600. Then I'm going to I'm going to run over 1, 2 weeks. 600 over 2 reduces to 300 over 1, and that is my slope, 300 over 1. Now, to interpret it in words, that means for every 1 week, I deposit $300. What I would like you to do now is try activity B. Show your work on the left-hand side of the work zone to receive credit. Pause the video now and work on activity B. Now, we're going to review our essential question. how did what you learned today help you answer this question? How can you show that two objects are proportional? I want you to think about what proportional means and what you learned about the slope of a line. Tell me what you know about the graph and how it should look if it is proportional. I want you to write your answer on page 76 in the work zone to receive credit for this. Okay, your homework tonight is to complete the guided practice problems on page 76. It's only 2 problems, numbers 1 and 2. Since this was a short lesson, I want you to go ahead and try that. And in class tomorrow, we will review and cover the independent practice and some higher order thinking problems. I hope you have a great evening, and I will see you in class tomorrow. Bye-bye.